Work. All right, welcome everybody. My name is Stacy Alden, and this is my YouTube channel streaming as well on Facebook, all about information and answers for group fitness managers. And especially right now, I'm so excited to have Jessie here today. She comes to us all the way. It's so funny that we're even Zooming together right now. We're like interviewing virtually because she lives right next door in Seattle. But I have known Jessie for quite a long time. I want to say 5 years at least.
I can't believe it's 5 years.
I know, exactly. And really where our relationship started was we were seeing each other at these random trainings, and I'm sure there were instructors that were connecting the dots, and we were finally like, you know what, we should continue to connect. And during this pandemic, it has been so nice to be able to reach out to Jessie to reach out to me, and to communicate about what it's like to be a group fitness manager during this time. So I know a lot of my videos have been either myself or other fitness leaders talking about do this, do that, do this, and we'll give you some of the advice that we have as we go over some of the questions today. But I really want this video to also be about two group fitness managers talking about what we do, what we've learned, and what we're looking forward to doing with our teams after and continuing after this through the pandemic and into the end of the pandemic, and who knows what else the future will bring. Yes. So a little bit more about Jessie. She has really had an integral part in the leadership of various clubs in Seattle, but is currently the group fitness manager at Denali Fitness. And she also is a regular instructor for Homeroom Fit. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that, where we had talked to Trisha Murphy-Madden on this channel about Homeroom Fit and some of the things she was doing virtually there. And so Jessie is an instructor there as well. So what we are going to talk about, we'll do a short discussion, I guess, about where Washington is right now in the filming of this video. We're in phase 3, which means that we have had our capacities increase pretty substantially. And I don't know about you, Jessie, but there are certain studios where the number went up so much that I'm actually like, I don't know if we're ready for that number yet.
Yeah, for us, it's really been that we really never reach the capacity that they've allowed us because we're a pretty small place here. So it kind of just opened up all the doors to us. It feels
exactly
cool in a weird way.
Yeah, and it's like it happened overnight. And I feel like that's, I'm sure, going to be happening across the country. So the first question I have for Jessie that we'll kind of talk about together is how, I guess if we could backtrack a little bit, how have you handled the transition into coming back into the club physically, and any communication strategies that you have that you've learned with your team?
So we actually sent a survey out to our instructors months back when we thought we were going to move forward in phases faster than we did, and kind of pulled them on how they were feeling, masks, no masks for them, masks, no masks for the students. And we got a lot of information. And then unfortunately we backtracked and we got shut down again. So we didn't do a survey this time, but I've had lots of communication via email with them, some of them on the phone, some of them through text. And the biggest thing is having a conversation, because this is new territory for all of us, and every single person, every instructor feels differently about it. And so we're really putting it out there that there's no pressure to come back into the studio sooner than they feel comfortable. And so we're just asking, and we've kind of had like leaning more towards not ready, and then a couple instructors who feel ready, but they would be masked teaching. So there is some hesitation over that. And I think moving forward, it just has to continue to be a conversation, because so we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what this looks like yet.
So true. And I love that you mentioned that it is a conversation, because what I have been hearing in the industry when I go, and I'm sure this is your case, group fitness managers out there, you're going to like every webinar and every panel trying to learn like, what is everyone doing? And hopefully you're getting answers there. But one of the answers that stuck with me recently was someone is explaining like how you behave as a leader and how you integrate your team back and how they feel about everything is what's going to help or hurt the member experience as they feel comfortable coming back.
Right. And we have made it very clear that the safety of our instructors is so important. And we've put the safety of our members as a priority as well. But especially since our instructors have been removed from the studio for a year now, to reiterate that their safety is number one is so important, because this is a very personal decision. This is our life. This is being sick. This is your family. So it's not just like, oh yeah, we're going to remove a class or we're going to add a class anymore. It's a bigger loaded, how do we add a class? Is the instructor comfortable? And so on and so forth.
Yes, that is so interesting, because I feel, I don't know if you get this very often, but like when a member goes up to you is like, hey, you used to have this class at this time. I see that you have this other class on this day. Can you just bring that one back? And now I feel like I should just be like, I would love to, but that's a really loaded question. And sometimes it does take, I think I have done a better job this year in educating members a bit more in a polite, professional, kind way, but it can help them understand how much more there is involved than just adding a class.
Yeah, we folks this week, we have some live classes. Some of the homeroom fit classes are taught from this studio. And I was teaching my class on Monday night. We had someone go to the front desk and say, oh, are in-person classes back yet? And they got all excited about it. And it was like, no, they're just, doing their live virtual class. But there is some interest there. But same thing, you see it on a schedule. Oh, is this happening? Or you see a person in this studio, what's going on up there? I want more of that. But we kind of have to pump the brakes right now and ease into the in-person classes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's something that right now, where we're at as far as timing of this, and I've talked to Jessie about this, is right now, let's say we are able to have some instructors coming back, they're feeling comfortable. We're in March. Let's say we start advertising for new classes that are going to start in May, because you want to give yourself some time.
Yeah.
Then it's June and it's summertime. And here in Seattle, those people like to go outside. They like to travel. And now hopefully more people will be able to do that. So I'm realizing.
So normally, we had talked about it last week, normally we pull back some classes into the summer. Mm-hmm. So it feels a little weird to be like, let's ramp up and then remove those. You don't want to promise something and then just take it away a month or two later. So fall feels a bit more comfortable in terms of ramping things up, hopefully, and seeing how summer goes.
Me too. And I found that by telling the instructors that, because I do have a lot of instructors who are just so excited to be back in person and they really want to be able to teach more. And we're in this place where we have to be more strategic about that. So when I say maybe fall, they have actually been like, you know what, that sounds like I can wait. And so it's kind
of nice to just like there's something to look forward to. It's not a promise, but hey, this is where we're at, and this is our goal, and we'll see how we get there. And it depends too on where the pandemic goes here in Washington, how cases go, and we really don't want to go backward, but it's not completely up to us. So,
absolutely. So next question, I guess, would be, and I think we've kind of touched on this, but what are some of the challenges that you're working through right now with your team and with your programming?
Yes. So for the team, I would say the one challenge, and we're not there yet, but is that some instructors do want to come back and some don't. So, definitely the variety of what classes are we going to be able to offer in person when we get there. It may be 1 or 2 a week. It's not going to be everybody at one time. So that could be a bit of a challenge just to make it make sense when we start to ease back. And then for programming, we had to pull back pretty significantly last year when the pandemic hit. And, we lost a bunch of members. And so budget wise, I'm very restricted, which I know a lot of other businesses are too. And other group fitness directors are like, I just want more money so I could put more classes and serve more people, but it just doesn't exist right now. So I've had to temper my expectations of, I want to add this. No, we can't do that right now. And I'm hoping that given another 6 months, getting ready for fall, our budget will be bigger. We'll have more people back, and then we could start pushing those classes. But budget's a big one for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that you mentioned budget, because that is the other there's a lot of hairy things that have happened, gray area things that have been happening in the fitness industry where, some instructors, it's put us in a tough position where some instructors might say, I'll teach for free. I'll teach. And you're like, it kind of hurts your gut in a way. You're like, that just doesn't feel right. But
we
then,
have instructors who, bless their hearts, have taught free for us during the pandemic. And we're so grateful for that. Right. But then, I have those conversations of, we need to start paying them. They're doing the work. Let's do it. And they're just so kind. And it is the side thing for them. It's not their main gig. So,
exactly.
Isn't that amazing?
So it's so true.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, it's so true. And so there's been that kind of gray area. And then we've experienced, and we may talk about this the next time we meet with Jessie, is we've experienced instructors who started their own things that they're doing. And when you're a member-based facility, how that affects the way your management looks at your instructors and sees your department. And that is where I think as group fitness managers, my heart goes out for us, because we have this like triangle of people we're talking to, the higher management, our team of instructors, and then the members, like the customer. And we're stuck in the middle, just constantly going around in circles, trying to help and help everyone understand what's going on. And that's where, so when it comes to maybe thinking about like hybrid offerings and how I'd love you to talk about how Denali's been creative with that in creating a in-person experience, which you're working on, but also that digital experience.
Yeah, so we did very quickly jump into the digital experience. I think I got the instructors all ready to go within 1 week. And then we're like, we're doing Zoom and let's go. And we've been doing that religiously, since last March. And so we're approaching this potential of a hybrid class where we have the instructor physically here with maybe a few members, not a ton to start. They're masked, everybody's masked. And then we also are serving the digital virtual group on our TV that's in this Group X space. And we're looking towards that, but there's a lot of concern. How do we serve both groups, right? The virtual folks already have distance, and then you put your instructor in a mask because there's physical people in the space now. So there's more distance. You don't see physical expressions, facial expressions. And then you say, oh, I have to pay attention to these people in my space and those people up there. So there's more distance for those virtual folks. So how do we really make it successful so that they're getting the attention they deserve on virtual and the people in the space? So this feels like a big thing to consider and to work with instructors to make successful, but that would be the next step forward. Longer term thinking, I could see us having virtual only offerings on the schedule, in-person only offerings on the schedule, and maybe some of these hybrids. But who knows? That's probably a year plus down the road when we can offer that. But this hybrid it has to happen. We actually have gained this little pocket of people who were not in-person group fitness members, but because it went digital and they could take it from anywhere, now we have those members, and you don't want to lose those folks, even though they're a small percentage. So how do we hang on to those folks knowing that they'll never come into the space, even if 90% of our folks say, yes, long-term, I want to be physically back in. So this is a tough one for us, and we have to adapt to it.
And get so creative. And I think what I'm realizing too is gyms, as much as group fitness managers can explain to upper management, that we have to kind of rethink the way we advertise how we offer fitness, and what are the tiers of membership, and what do they look like, and how can we use digital? Like you said, we've had that same thing. Members who had never tried group fitness, but because group fitness got online the fastest and was able to portray fitness out there really quickly and for free, initially they were able to engage with it and go, oh my goodness, I actually really love kickboxing, and I would have never tried it if I had to do it in front of people I don't know.
This is fantastic, and I don't want to lose those people that all of a sudden have appeared for the virtual class offerings. One thing kind of hybrid, but not really, is on-demand offerings, which you and I have talked about as well, is just those pre-recorded classes that anybody could access at any time, as long as they're paying their membership dues. Here's a video. And that's something we've been working towards as well, and looking for a platform where we could host those videos for our members, but also have them, private, so only our people have access to that. So that's another way we're kind of hybridizing the whole group fitness industry, I guess you could say. But we're in competition with these big brand names, these big, like the Pelotons or the Apple Fitness and all of that. It's like, how do we retain our members? And I have to say, it's the instructors, right? The people in our gym love the instructors that have been with them for years and years and years. And I hope that they would come and choose our on-demand offering or virtual offering because of that person. And I really believe they will.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's where it's like, I've had to really try to learn from Peloton too, learn from Apple Fitness. And I've witnessed members who I would have never, ever thought would buy a Peloton bike, and they have. And at first you have this interesting, I think every instructor gets this weird like pit in their stomach where they're like, wait, no, you can't hang out with that person. Like, I want you to hang out with me. But I've had to like step back and realize, it's just like with shopping online. Some people actually want to go. I mean, it's not nearly, not the best example, but people like to be able to do things in different ways with lots of choice. And that's what the consumer is starting to become, is like they want it to be more, they can customize things to be however they want. So, but I think you are right. Those relationships within a facility that you can help foster more, because it is a smaller, more like specific space. I think it's really, that's where we can help try to add value to what we offer in comparison.
That's the part of group fitness. Like you and I were talking about it with having a two-way camera, like the Zoom version of a live stream, and still be able to see the people on the other side and shout them out and say, hey, you're doing great, or all of that. That is so necessary, because in this beautiful studio with your instructor and your people right there, there's such an energy and a connection. And that is the heart of all of this. And that's what will carry us into digital offerings where they're coming to that instructor still. And we have to somehow continue that connection forward and forward and forward through all iterations of what the group fitness industry looks like in the coming years. Who knows what it'll be, but we have to adapt. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. So really to recap, because I want to definitely respect Jessie's time, and we are going to meet with her again. I have a whole other video planned with her. But to recap, we talked about some of the communication strategies we've had with our teams, that this has been such an emotional and in a lot of forms tragic and testing time for all of us, that having that conversation, a two-way conversation with your team as much as possible. And depending on how big your team is, I have previous videos that can help you strategize that to reach out to those instructors and help them feel like they're heard as well. And then just the challenges we're working through here in Washington and how we're handling those. And when it comes to digital, we may have laid out, here are all the options. We don't have all the answers yet. But there's, as you mentioned, like pre-recorded, there's live synchronous where they're able to see you, asynchronous where it's you're broadcasting to an audience. And then of course there's potential for that hybrid environment that you took. I loved how you listed off all of those considerations you're making when it comes to that, because I had actually heard someone in the industry, Shannon Fable, who's a close mentor of mine, she had mentioned, if you think about the actual virtual class for a participant, someone at home, it's almost like it's a one-on-one experience for them. And so when you have a group of people in the room, how can you still give them that one-on-one experience that they're getting at home, because they're not with a group of people, but also teach the people who are in the room? And I was like, I hadn't asked myself that question. And I've been challenged with the hybrid class. It's not easy.
It's
very hard.
It's not easy. I'm going to think on that. Yeah. Because as the instructor, you're sitting there looking at all the little blocks of the people, but at home, they just see one person.
Yeah.
Totally different mindset. And wow. Yeah. It's a good thought.
Just when it comes to keeping those people who are virtual, I just want to keep kind of thinking about their experience. And I think that's something we'll talk more about next interview too, is just how much we've learned about the actual member journey and how clubs can help make that better through virtual and through these hybrid offerings. So thank you so much, Jessie, for your time today.
And you and I have been chatting this whole pandemic, and I just have to say what a wonderful support it is to be able to call up and go, what are you doing? How do you feel about this? Every time Washington puts out a new restrictions or opening up of something, it's so nice to have someone to call and just hash it out a little bit. So thank you for that. We all need that community of support as group fitness managers right now.
Yes, you too. And that's actually another thing I was going to say is find someone find your Jessie.
Right, yeah.
Find your person. Yeah, group fitness managers, we got to love each other. So even if comment in the comments, go to my website, throw your email in there, and let's make a group. Let's make a community of group fitness managers.
For group fitness managers.
Yes, let's make it happen. But thank you again so much for your time. I can't wait to have you back again. Those of you watching this on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe this video if you want more content like this, so I know that you're enjoying this, and comment with any other questions you might have for Jessie. And we'll see her next time.
Thank you, Stacey.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.